Hey guys, good morning, good morning. We'll be on the air in just a couple of minutes. Welcome, welcome. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell. This is the most pro-Trump radio show anywhere, so you'll love this program. And we got a lot to talk about today. And everybody in there, if you're already subscribed, make sure you got that notification bell clicked and like the video before we get going. Got 2 bottles of water today. Oh, I got an itch on my back. I can reach it. Oh, good. Kamala Harris is going to Vietnam, going to Southeast Asia. Yeah. Well, thank you, Stephen. I love this program, too.
You're probably not aware that as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to 1 pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are
Hey, everybody in there, real quick before we get started, tell me how long you've been following me. Yeah, all my shirts, I'll put my link in there. How long have you been listening to me? I'm going to put a link to my shirt store where all my shirts are.
one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com.
7 years, wow.
Tell 'em Steve Kane sent you.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers at Mike Lindell. He's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40%.
6 months, 1 year, 7 years, 5 years, 6 years, 1 year, almost a year.
One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow.
2 years, about a year, 8 months, welcome, 5 months.
Slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy and what are the symptoms?
Well, the
You're new. Well, Patricia Peck, brand new.
and it affects your balance.
Here, I am putting the, I'm pinning the, in the chat room, that's the link to my shirt store, where most of the shirts I wear, my wife designs them, and I have my shirt store right here. You can check it out.
Barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow.
I have not found my watch. I'm wearing my Apple Watch today for the first time in like a year because my pulse. What happened to me yesterday, I made a video yesterday. I'm on a new medication for something, and you're supposed to take it with food, and I took it actually during the show yesterday, and on an empty stomach, of course, and it really
40% off with the promo code KANE.
freaked me out. You used to watch on Periscope, 10 months, wow.
Or call 1-800-716-4879.
I had someone, well, I'll tell when I get on the air.
7879. Promo code KANE. K-A-N-E.
Good morning.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by a terrorist. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets?
No, I'm going to shave probably today or tomorrow morning. I just haven't shaved the last few days.
Throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach to
I hate shaving. I hate shaving.
1-855-FLA-3782.
Oh, when I had 25,000 subs? Yeah, it's getting up there. I'm about to hit that 45,000 subs soon. That'd be awesome. No, Monday I'll be clean shaven. All righty. Welcome, welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. It is August 20th and Friday morning. You know what that means. This is the most important Steve Kane show of the week, because this is not just our live morning show. We're live in the morning from 6 until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on all of our radio stations. I stream live, of course, on my YouTube channel. We're on the iHeartRadio app, a whole bunch of places. But we're live in the morning from 6 until 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. And 7 nights a week, we have an overnight rebroadcast from midnight until 6 a.m. And that means the Friday show airs a total of 35 times over the weekend on our radio stations before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure the Friday show is the best. If you are new here, welcome to the program. And we got a lot to talk about today. I'm here to tell you a lot to talk about today. And, you know, Joe Biden, this is the biggest human rights disaster that America has personally been responsible for in my adult lifetime. I think this is a larger, now this is a bold statement, but I think this is a larger human rights disaster, Afghanistan, of course, than even Vietnam was. So I'm trying to think, when was the last time there was a human rights disaster that was the fault of the United States that is close to or equal to what is going on in Afghanistan? Because Afghanistan is going to be something that goes on. Now, this is forever. The rest of our lives, this is going to be a problem. All because of Joe Biden. And I got to tell you, I was watching the news yesterday, and it was a bit depressing. Some people I noticed were picking up on something I brought up yesterday about the lithium deposits in Afghanistan. So I'm going to revisit that today. But I'm not saying that this is true at this point. But if this is not corrected, and what I mean by not correct, I'm talking about the situation in Afghanistan. If this continues, it'll be beyond Afghanistan. But if this type of governance continues beyond even Biden, right, with future presidents, if this type of leadership, lack thereof it, but if this type of leadership continues in this country, we very well may be in the end days of America as a superpower. America has lost a lot of prestige, a lot of influence in the last 7 days over Afghanistan. It's now again. I was a baby when Vietnam ended, when the embassy fell. I was 4 years old. Just turned 4 too, so I have no memory of it. All I know is, you know, from growing up, hearing about it, reading about it, learning about it, and everything else. But Vietnam, outside of the humiliation that collapse of the embassy was and the fall of South Vietnam was, Vietnam didn't have influence over the rest of the world. I know a lot of people with the domino theory with the Soviets and everything, and, you know, I understand that. But Afghanistan, now the terrorists have their own nation. In fact, I was reading this morning that the Taliban now control more territory than they did before 9/11. I did not know that, but I know it now. I just read about that this morning. And the question, there's a big question here. Obviously, Biden is confused. This George Stephanopoulos interview, I've got some information on this Stephanopoulos interview I'm going to get to in a few minutes. But the George Stephanopoulos interview was frightening. It's very scary. Joe Biden and his current, you've got two things with Joe Biden. His cognitive decline and that he's a corrupt man. And I know liberals, Democrats will say Trump is corrupt. Really, what corruption was he involved in? You know, yeah, maybe there's some creepy guys involved in the construction business. He's involved with building buildings in New York where the unions are strong and there's organized crime connected to all of that. That doesn't mean he's an organized crime. He had to deal with corrupt people, including corrupt politicians, to get buildings built and things like that. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, I mean, you go, I'm not going to go through the Hannity list of talking points, but you know the deal that he made with China using his son. You know the deals from Ukraine that he did using his son as the front man. He's corrupt, and he always has been. So you combine corruption with the cognitive decline, And it's a dangerous situation right now that we're in. It's a very dangerous situation we're in right now. And there's no positive correction that is going to be made until at least 2024, because the best case scenario is for him to resign or be removed by the vice president and have Kamala come in. And that's a scary thought. When we would be better off with Kamala Harris as the president of the United States. That's how bad things are, and I don't say that lightly. This is beyond politics. There are people that have died this week. There are people that will die after this show today in Afghanistan. There are people that are losing everything they have. There are people that are being tortured. You've seen the videos of women handing their children away to strange U.S. soldiers and leaving the wall. And they know whatever the soldier does with that child will be better than life under the Taliban. And this is all happening because of Biden. The only saving grace, this is something really to think about beyond the partisan politics. And I'm partisan as hell. I want Trump back in 2024. I'm a Trump guy. I'm a DeSantis guy. I'm MAGA all the way. But I'm talking about immediacy. What's going on right now? The media last weekend turned on Biden. And the first time I was noticing it was Jake Tapper on Sunday was coming out hardcore against Biden. And I thought by Monday, CNN and MSNBC too, but I thought CNN and MSNBC come Monday would change, because on the weekends, the big bosses aren't around. They're all at Martha's Vineyard. What do they summer? The Hamptons. They're all in the Hamptons, wherever they summer. I summer in the same place I winter. But and I figured the big bosses would come back from the Hamptons or Martha's Vineyard, wherever the hell they are, on Monday and say, well, wait a minute, we're criticizing a Democrat here. We got to start blaming Trump. And that did not happen. In fact, every day, the mainstream liberal media are becoming more detailed in their criticism of the way Biden has just destroyed this situation in Afghanistan. For various reasons, which I'm not going to get into right now in this moment. So he's lost the media. He's lost the media. And his presidency, I said about 2 or 3 days ago, is over at this point. It's just a matter of if he'll resign on his own, be forced to resign, the 25th. Something's going to happen where he will resign from office, I believe, at this point. It's that bad. It's so, I want you to really think about it. It is so bad that we would be better off with Kamala Harris as the president than this guy. Kamala Harris is scared to death of this. I would be too. I don't want to be president. Now that she sees what's really going on, she gets the book. She gets the presidential daily briefing. She's been getting them for about a year. She's like, whoa, this is different. This is not what I thought it would be like at all. And now there's this mess going on. But at least what Kamala would do is listen to the people that have the best chance of keeping America as a superpower and dominant in the world and get some control before this terrorist state fully forms in Afghanistan. She would listen to people we don't like. The Secretary of Defense and General Milli Vanilli and the deep state. I was talking earlier this week. The CIA are plenty pissed because they had a 20-year operation in Afghanistan that Biden just blew this week. So she is so incompetent, Kamala Harris, and terrified of the situation. She will do what she's told by the people that have the best chance of getting control of the situation and slowing the spread of the Taliban and terrorist control over Afghanistan. So I don't say that lightly, because I don't like Kamala Harris any more than any of you, right? She's a terrible person. She's totally incompetent. She would be a disaster as president of the United States. But as sad as it is, She's our best hope right now. Who do you think? You know, there's a process here. We saw with Ford, although it was a little different because he wasn't elected. But she would have to nominate a vice president if Kamala became president. It's a process very similar to nominating a cabinet post. Who do you think she would pick? AOC's not old enough, thankfully. So I don't think she'd pick a woman because she wants to be the first woman thing. She doesn't want to, women, she doesn't want a woman. It'd be a man. I don't know who she would pick. But that would be something, hey, it could be Cuomo for all the hell. I know. Not Fredo, the governor.
Now Avoca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009.
You may have to refresh, guys, okay?
Located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Alrighty, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. It is 21 minutes after the hour. Let's go back to our, well, not back to, for the phones for the first time. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
My name's Lou.
Hey, Lou. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. Oh, wow. I don't hear from people from Nebraska too often. What's on your mind?
I heard you contemplating about who Kamala would pick for her VP, and I know it's Mayor Pete. I know it. I had like this vision of like Revelations, and he's going to be like the Antichrist that ends.
Well, I don't know why that's funny. Why would that be funny? Why would that be funny? I mean, that's crazy. It won't be Mayor Pete. If she, Kamala Harris will not pick Mayor Pete. I'll tell you why. Because he's gay, and that would, and he by the way just got a baby or something. I don't know. If Kamala became president, she would pick a boring, like, white guy. Because she doesn't want to share historical significance with anyone. She'd be the first female president of the United States, and also she's an ethnic minority on top of that. And if she brings in someone like Mayor Pete to be vice president, he's the first openly gay vice president. Now she doesn't want to share historical significance like that. She'd pick a boring white guy.
Sure. In for like a re-election because they're going to check all the boxes.
I don't think she'd want to get reelected. I don't think, being president sounds all cool and all until you see what's really going on. And I think she's terrified of becoming president.
If she was the president, she'd be a figurehead, and the deep state would run her completely. I mean, the strings would be pulled on both of them.
Yeah.
They would want someone that Obama has like groomed her for this.
Well, a lot of people believe that her and Obama were an item. And she came into the Senate through Obama, and a lot of people believe that Obama picked her to be the vice president for Biden. What were you going to say? You're going to tell us you think you don't believe they had a fling because
I would see him with Mayor Pete, to be honest.
You say you got a weird sense of humor. You make yourself laugh a lot. Well, before I get to that, you said you had a vision that Mayor Pete would be vice president. Have you had other visions that have come true?
Oh, tons of them. It scares the shit out.
We're on the radio. We're on the radio. Oh my goodness. I have dumped conservatives on this program every day this week. Every day this week, I have dumped conservatives calling in. We're on the radio. We're on a bunch of radio stations. We're not sitting in your living room. There are certain words that you cannot say on the radio. Oh my goodness. Usually I have to dump liberals, but now I'm dumping MAGA. I'm sorry, guys. There are FCC guidelines. You can't use those words. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, welcome back. Nebraska. Oh, my goodness. Well, I guess it can get kind of lonely in Nebraska. So, no, Kamala Harris would not pick someone as VP. Before we get into the politics, back to the politics in Afghanistan and everything, I wanted to mention something that I was not going to bring this up at all because it's not normally on our list of things to talk about, okay? But it is all over the news. OnlyFans, and it says, this is the story, OnlyFans to ban all sexually explicit content going forward. Okay. This is, I tell you, the only content on OnlyFans is sexually explicit content. Without sexually explicit content, there is no OnlyFans. And I just was thinking about this. I was listening to the news this morning. They say that they haven't gotten, I was listening to, I think it was CNN or Fox. I was listening to both this morning as I was getting ready. It was either CNN or Fox said this morning that OnlyFans has not defined what sexually explicit content is. Well, I guess they don't know what it is over on Fox or CNN, whichever one said it. This is what's going on here, okay? They're making some changes on their platform because it's the wild, wild west. It's like Periscope used to be. But this is the most brilliant marketing campaign I have seen a company put together in a long time. How many of you in the radio audience have never heard of OnlyFans? A lot of people have heard of it. I'm not asking our YouTube people because they're internet people, so they're more likely to have heard of it. But obviously, millions of people around the world are familiar with it, but tens of millions and hundreds of millions have never heard of OnlyFans. So this story that they've put out there that's very vague, now they have gotten every outlet that carries news promoting their website for free. A lot of people think you can't make things go viral anymore. It's not easy as it used to be. This is an example with this OnlyFans story of some marketing person coming up with a viral promotion. They've even got me talking. Have you ever heard me talk about OnlyFans? I don't think I've mentioned it before. You know, now they've got everyone in radio, television, online talking about it. There'll be people all over YouTube and all the other streaming services talking about OnlyFans. It is $1 billion in free marketing they're going to get today and throughout the weekend. And notice the timing of it too, on Friday. So Friday, that means it'll carry all weekend long, and it'll even be through Monday. They're going to still have sexually explicit content. If they don't have sexually explicit content, they have no content. You know, so much of what you see in the news is marketing by very smart people at companies. I'm not going to get sidetracked on talking about OnlyFans anymore, but I'm just telling you, it's this whole thing is you got to give them credit for having this incredibly brilliant marketing campaign. Now, one last thing, then we'll break, and then I'm going to get back into the Afghanistan and Biden and everything that's going on. Hey, isn't Trump's rally this weekend? Does he have a rally tomorrow? Is it Louisiana? Anyone have the details on the time of the rally? Is it tomorrow in Louisiana? There was a huge story involving Greg Gutfeld. Now, Greg Gutfeld, I like Greg Gutfeld a lot. I think he is very talented, very funny. I did not always think that because he wasn't as good years ago as he is today. You know, a few years ago on Fox, he just was, he wasn't as polished as he is. But now he's got some experience. And Greg Gutfeld is brilliant. And there's a great story today. Greg Gutfeld has overtaken Stephen Colbert in the late night ratings. And that's amazing. Yahoo News reports on Tuesday night, Gutfeld took in an average of 2.12 million viewers, with 434,000 in the advertiser-coveted age demo of 25 to 54. By the way, that's not true. Actually, 40 plus is more coveted because those are the people with the moolah. But, you know, whatever. Colbert's show got an average of 1.896 million. So Gutfeld had 2.12 and Colbert at 1.896. He has really beaten the pants off of Stephen Colbert. Now I'll tell you this about Gutfeld. This is what Gutfeld has done is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to just talk about it for a moment because he is at a severe disadvantage. Stephen Colbert and anyone else in late night other than Gutfeld have a huge team of top-tier comedy writers working for them. They have a huge budget, each of these shows, the Colbert, these late night shows. I'm not talking about Gutfeld. They have a huge budget, and they have top-tier Hollywood and New York comedy writers. People that write movies and sitcoms are on the comedy teams of these late night shows. Gutfeld doesn't have that. The top-tier Hollywood and New York comedy writers that write for television and film, they don't want to go work for Gutfeld. First off, it's a smaller show, smaller budget, less pay, but then they get that brand of working for Fox News and working for a conservative, and then they get blacklisted in Hollywood. Even though Hollywood will tell you they're against blacklisting, they really are they are blacklisters. So he has a smaller budget, a smaller team. He can't get the top tier. I'm not saying that the writers Gutfeld has are not talented people, and he's a talented man. But you go to something like The Tonight Show where Stephen Colbert, they could have 20 to 30 top-tier television and film writers writing comedy. That's a huge number of people, and you can't get that with Gutfeld for the reasons I stated. They don't have the budget. They don't have the staff size. And now the budget may be getting increased now. And these people don't want to be tainted with having worked for Fox and Gutfeld and conservatives because they won't get work in Hollywood. And still he's beating them. And the reason is a simple one. It's this liberal woke crap. Stephen Colbert, I heard an interview recently. I was driving up to Orlando a few weeks ago, and I was listening to Howard Stern interview Stephen Colbert, who I didn't know too much about. I listened to the whole interview. It was a long interview. Oh man, it was like an hour or more. And he was interesting. He went through his whole life story. I did not know that he's Catholic, who's a practicing Catholic, who actually believes and even taught Sunday school and things like this. But people with these late night shows of today, I'm thinking about this because of the guy called from Nebraska, and Johnny Carson was from Nebraska. It's not. There's one main reason why Greg Gutfeld has beaten Stephen Colbert. People are tired of liberal wokeness. Wokeness is the new in vogue thing, but it's the liberal thing that's going on. And these late night shows are preachers as well. They're preaching liberalism. They're like college professors with their liberal indoctrination. People are tired of wokeness. People are tired of liberal preaching from these late night comedians. They want to hear honest comedy, and I think Gutfeld is brilliant. I think he is very funny. In fact, this is a big, bold statement. And everything's got to be. He is as funny to Gutfeld, because I listen to him with the political stuff. I'm telling you this, and I don't watch his late night show too much because it's on way past my bedtime. But I'll catch a clip on YouTube or something from it every once in a while. But I do catch him on the 5 and see him around. He is at the Dennis Miller level of comedy. And Dennis Miller, I think, is one of the funniest people to ever live, Dennis Miller, when it comes to comedy about the issues and everything. He's at the Dennis Miller level, Greg Gutfeld, without question. And he's very, very good. And he makes fun of everyone. And another thing, these late night shows, people are sick of celebrities. And that's basically what they do, is have celebrity guests. And I remember when Stephen Colbert took over that late night show, he wasn't going to do the politics and everything because he had that Bill O'Reilly character that he did over on Comedy Central, and his ratings weren't too good in the beginning, so he brought back the character basically and turned the whole show into that. But Greg Gutfeld, here on the Steve Kane Show, we have a very small operation. And that's how it is with Gutfeld. Now, that may increase now because of the ratings, and now he's under some pressure because he beat Colbert, so if he does it next week, people will point to it, etc., etc., etc. But Greg Gutfeld is very brilliant, and he deserves a lot of credit and celebration, and I'm going to give it to him right here, as I just did. All right, let's take our break. My name's Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. It's 35 minutes after the hour. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I love my dream when I was young, I wanted to always be a stand-up I love comedy. I used to go to comedy clubs. I used to be all into the comedy scene. I never did stand-up. I always wanted to. I've had a couple of offers, but I've always chickened out, you know. But no, Greg Gutfeld is very brilliant, and he definitely. Oh yeah, Dennis Miller is awesome. I don't know what happened to Dennis Miller. I saw Dennis Miller in person, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times. He was just the best. All right, we'll take our break. 36 minutes after the hour. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's our number. 888-465-2631. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the
Where am I?
great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on
Looking
the
for
air
my
to tell
glasses.
about his experience.
Now listen, guys, like there was a little buffering earlier. Just to let you guys know, I live stream when I'm on the radio. Anytime you see me live stream, I live stream on my iPhone. I have an iPhone 12 Pro, not the Max. That's huge. I got the regular size one. But so that's why there's buffering sometimes. So if there's buffering, bear with me, because usually I'm streaming off the cell signal. I guess that wasn't too good. It's 5G. It works pretty good, but every once in a while, so I connected to the Wi-Fi. So if that gives me problems, I'll turn the Wi-Fi off later. But bear with me, and you know, you got to maybe refresh the feed and things like that sometimes.
On the bus to go to the reception, okay? In New York City, he knew I was in New York. The phone rings, who do you think's on the line?
Dr. Gupta.
Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I would have been able to eat, I would have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's, you know.
I know. I'm trying to get them to This is the deal. This studio here at the radio station, there's a bunch of radio stations in this building. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 studios here. And this studio that I'm using, I use it because I like the stand-up. It's a stand-up studio, and everything's on the right. I'm right-handed. I can use any studio I want. This studio used to be used by a Jamaican radio station, Jamaican Haitian reggae radio station. We called it the Haitian station. And these guys, we're at the top floor of this office building with a beautiful view. The ocean's right over here. It's dark now, but when the sun comes up, I can see the ocean. And these people from the Haitian reggae station had all these Haitian Jamaican reggae posters taped up to the windows. And I'm thinking, why the hell, with this beautiful view, would they have all the windows taped up? So I can't get the tape off, but I'm trying to get them to retint the windows. Dave Chappelle is not as funny as you remember him being. I thought he was funny as hell. Go back and watch the Chappelle show. You thought it was funny because you were young at the time. No, I tried everything. I even tried this stuff. You know, nothing. The station manager, they're going to look into retinting the windows for me. I can't take the tint off because when the sun comes up in the morning, it'll be too bright in here. And the windows have to be tinted for the building. See, this is a big office building. Paint scraper, it rips the tint. I've tried that. It rips the tint off. Oh my goodness. Yes. We were talking during the break about the tape on the windows. I know. The tape on the... I almost don't want to take the tape off because it's become part of the personality of the... You know, when I first started in radio, I was working at this radio station that was in a really dumpy trailer park. And it was a big station too. It was a big FM radio station. And I'd never been to the radio station before. I listened to the station when I was in middle school and high school. And I got a chance to work there. I was not on the air, but I was working there. And it was in this dumpy, rundown trailer park. That was a very scary place. In fact, I remember I was working overnights there. They would have police checkpoints sometimes coming in and out of the trailer park. I don't know what I got. That's how bad of a place it was. And I remember I was talking to the station manager, and I said, I cannot believe, now this was a long time ago before the internet and before live streaming and everything. I told him, I said, I can't believe this was one of the top 5 FM stations in this market. In fact, it might have been in the top 3. Yes, I'm talking about 103.5 She FM. Remember She FM? And I was talking to the station manager, and I said, I cannot believe that this top FM radio station is in this dumpy trailer park. And he said, Brian, this is radio. No one knows where you are. You're wherever you tell them you are. This is an audio format. It doesn't matter where you are. No one knows we're in a dumpy trailer park unless you tell them. Well, that's changed now because of the internet and everybody can see everything all the time. And I get more messages about the tape on the windows behind me than you can believe. There's not a day that goes by that I don't get messages on some platform from someone about the... I've tried everything in the world to get the tape off the... This radio studio that I'm using, we moved here a little over a year ago from our own old studio in Coral Springs, and this station was used by a reggae radio station before I was up here using it. And we have a bunch of studios here at the building, and this hour of the morning, I'm the only person here broadcasting live in the building, so I could use any of the studios that I want. And I chose this one because I like standing up when I'm on the air. And this studio was built to stand up because it was a music radio station, DJ stand up. The other studios you sit down in. And I like to stand up. You can't stand up in the other ones. And everything in the studio here, all the equipment is on the right. And I'm right-handed, so it makes it better than if everything's on the... But before me, the reggae station that was using this, we're on the top floor of this beautiful office building. When the sun comes up, right now it's dark, and you can't see out of the windows. But when the sun comes up, we have a beautiful view with the ocean. The ocean's right over here. I can see the ocean in the mornings. It's beautiful. And these guys at the reggae station, they had posters taped to these beautiful windows, all these reggae posters. I don't know what they were doing. Someone might think they were smoking something in here and were so stoned they would think people outside could see them, but I know they weren't doing that. That would be illegal. But so that's why there's tape on the windows. We've been here over a year. I think we came here like in March or April of last year at the start of the pandemic. I have tried everything. In fact, I've got a listener. Listeners have sent me many things. A listener sent me a thing of Goo Gone, adhesive remover. I've tried everything, and everything I do scrapes the tint off. And if I scrape off the tint, when the sun comes up, it's too sunny. Okay? But so I haven't talked about the tape in a while. I don't like talking about the tape. I have talked to the powers that be about retinting the window, and they seem open to that idea. So I'm going to try to get them to retint the window so I don't have to hear people tell me about the tape. Sometimes on YouTube what I'll do is I'll zoom in a little bit on the camera so you don't really see the tape that much. Sometimes people take screenshots and blow them up of the tape on the windows, and then they'll message me a picture of the tape. This is it's amazing what people get hooked up on. But anyway, I'm trying to get the windows retinted. I'm sure they'll do it. The people that run the station, they're pretty good. How much can it cost to tint a window? We'll find out. We'll find out. Oh my goodness. I know. People, I feel like I've been getting a lot of messages about the tape lately. And then somebody mentioned it during the break in the YouTube live chat room. So I thought I should address the tape controversy. Someone said hire someone. I don't own this radio station. I'm not going to hire people to do work. If I'm going to hire someone to do work like that, I'm going to hire them to do work at my house, not here at the radio station. All right, but let's get back to what's important. I've got tape on the windows. Meanwhile, people are losing their lives in Afghanistan. And I think it's astounding that CNN in particular, MSNBC too, but CNN is really doing some, and now again, don't get used to it. They're doing some good reporting on Afghanistan, for the most part, believe it or not. I mean, they are really, I believe that the mainstream liberal media is controlled by the deep state, the CIA and all these groups. I've thought that for a while, and I didn't always think that way. And then I found out something. I heard something that I couldn't believe was true, and I looked it up and found out it was true. Anderson Cooper, whose mother was Gloria Vanderbilt. So he's an old blue blood. His mother dated Howard Hughes, very connected guy. And when he was in college over the summers in college, Anderson Cooper interned at the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. Dana Bash of CNN, one of her ex-husbands, the one she gets the name Bash from, was a senior CIA person. And I've thought that for quite a few years that the CIA and the deep state control the mainstream liberal media, certainly the cable news. And what I'm seeing this week is a confirmation of that. That's why they've turned on Biden. So they're doing some good reporting on this. Doesn't mean I like CNN. Believe me, once they get off of Afghanistan, it'll be back to business as usual. CNN played a voicemail that was left from one of the Afghan translators who has worked for the United States, who was trapped. Let me play this. This is really scary stuff. Listen.
Why have the American soldiers forgotten about us after everything we did? The sacrifices we made. Why are you leaving us behind? I don't want to be killed by the Taliban. They're gonna cut our heads off if they find my location. Please help.
Okay, and they interviewed that guy. He left a voicemail at CNN, and he was on CNN yesterday for an interview. They blocked out his face, and I think they're using a fake name because he's afraid that if he gets identified, he'll get his head cut off. CNN played that. That was from CNN. I know. Isn't that something? Yeah. And you see Biden out there, and he doesn't give a damn, Biden, about the suffering of these people. He doesn't care at all. I've never seen anything like it. Now, I want to take our last break of the first hour, and I'll come back, and I'll jump right into the news and the issues after the break, okay? I promise. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Janae.
I'm Alan Knight.
You love listening to Steve Kane and Brian Craig for your daily dose of political pandemonium. Now you need a cure for the resulting anxiety and depression. Join us for the perfect prescription to help you cope with the world.
Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday nights at 11.
If you want answers about love, anger, pain, and relationships, join us for your chance to call in and share your stories, tears, or laughs. Take the opportunity to tell me what's on your mind.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well,
Yeah, I'm going to go through this story after the break. ABC edited that interview in a way to make Biden look less incoherent and checked out. I'm going to get to that when we get back from the break. Well, they're saying 13 to 14,000. You know that number's down. Doesn't matter if it's 13 or 14. But if they're saying 13 or 14,000, you got to add a few thousand to that number.
Good morning. I wanted to
No doubt about that.
This morning. First of all, the people that came out.
I know, shelter in place. What the hell is that about?
Polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry.
I'm wearing my Apple Watch so I can check my pulse because my blood pressure got so high yesterday during the show. So I figured this would. My pulse is 89 beats per minute. Not bad while I'm talking.
Spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Come My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works.
Welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell, and everybody in the chat, please like the video, share the video on whatever social media you're using, and make sure you've got that notification bell clicked too. I upload content here all the time.
939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. The moment that, I believe the Biden presidency is over. But I think the moment it was really over, if you look back on it, will be this George Stephanopoulos interview. I'm going to read you an article here. This George Stephanopoulos interview was bad. This was bad. I mean, this Stephanopoulos interview is now becoming like the Nixon tapes. Let me go through this article, then I'll talk about that in more detail. ABC News this week has been accused of editing its Wednesday night interview with Joe Biden to flatter the president, removing mumbled statements and lapses of memory. See, now this is what I mean by the Nixon tapes. What this interview shows, as I go through this article, what this interview shows is that Biden is not up cognitively to run the country, and we're in a dangerous situation because of it. And people are losing their heads, literally, in Afghanistan because of it. And the Nixon tape comparison, now what people are going to want, and I think it will come out sooner rather than later, the edited portions of this ABC Stephanopoulos interview that they cut out so he didn't look so feeble and disoriented. ABC News has been accused of editing its Wednesday night interview with Joe Biden to flatter the president, removing mumbled statements and lapses of memory. This is in the Daily Mail. Joe Biden's interview with George Stephanopoulos was criticized for his claim that the chaos in Afghanistan this week was inevitable. But on Thursday, when the full transcript was published by ABC, it emerged that chunks of the interview were edited out. Isn't that something? Now we want to, when people see these edited out versions, that's going to really be an eye-opener. Biden falsely claimed that his son Beau, who died of a brain tumor in May 2015 at the age of 46, had served in Afghanistan, when in fact he served in Iraq. Now, Biden did eventually correct that part. Biden claimed Beau was in the Navy, but Beau was in the Army. Toward the end of the interview with ABC, now these are the part, again, this is the stuff that was edited out, so he didn't look so checked out. Toward the end of the interview with ABC, there was a telling exchange, said Tucker Carlson. The exchange was never broadcast on camera. Tucker said now television networks edit interviews very often for time, but ABC News appears to have edited out portions that made Joe Biden look incoherent and confused. Carlson then read from the transcript. Listen to this. Asked by George Stephanopoulos why the U.S. could not have withdrawn from Afghanistan with dignity, Joe Biden's response was jumbled. Look, this is Biden. Look, that's like asking my deceased son, Beau, who spent 6 months in Kosovo and a year in Iraq as a Navy captain and then major. I mean, an Army major, Biden said. They don't have majors in the Navy. And you know, I'm sure he had regrets coming out of out of Iraq. This is bad. He had regrets to how's it going? But the idea, what's the alternative? The alternative is, why are we staying in Afghanistan? Why are we there? Biden says. Biden has struggled to overcome a stutter ever since he was Now, I never heard this stutter crap before. But stutterers don't get countries mixed up. He's been open about challenges of public speaking and the decades of work he put into improving his presentation. I don't believe the stuttering thing. I think when Biden was younger, he was just drunk all the time. Carlson suggested that the moment was more significant than a stutter. Tucker Carlson said this: "We think it's worth knowing what happened, especially in a moment of national crisis. We are not attacking him. We are not telling you this with glee. We are telling you this because it is true." This is Tucker Carlson. The scary thing about Afghanistan is that it reveals American weakness, and weakness begets aggression. He said Biden's remarks revealed weakness at the heart of government. Journalist Michael Tracy says, seems suspicious that ABC has only released a small fragment of a video from this incredibly garbled transcript. Another person on Twitter said this: "I support President Biden's decision to depart Afghanistan despite the apparent incompetence and its execution, but reading this word salad interview transcript fits right along with the latter observation." Incoherent. Yeah. And I thought that was weird too. There's one clip, it's about a minute 20, minute 30 seconds. I played it yesterday, and I was very surprised that same clip is what's circulating this morning still. I thought there were new clips, and it was the same clip, and now we know why they only have the one clip. So, like the Nixon tapes, and like how long was the silence in the Nixon tape? Anyone remember offhand? The dead spot on the tape where he erased something? Maybe he just didn't know how to use the machine. I don't know. Nixon was a good guy, unlike Biden. But this interview, unedited, the portions they edited out, could very well be what forces Biden out of office. When people see Biden in this light and this incoherent, that'll be a wake-up call. And you know what? ABC and George Stephanopoulos, they're part of the deep state media establishment. This is what they wanted to do. They didn't want to go on their air and with the feeble stuff. So they did the editing, put it out there, and then they released a full transcript that had the edited portions and the screw-ups in it. So it would get out. This was very clever of ABC, because they didn't want to humiliate him on live TV. They've done it in another way, and they've actually created a scandal. They've actually created a scandal with this tape where people are going to be demanding that they share the unedited video, and they're going to. They're going to have to. When? I don't know, but it's going to happen. By this time next week, and probably much sooner, we're going to see the unedited interview. And when he can't tell the difference between Afghanistan and Iraq, doesn't know if his son was in the Army or the Navy and all of this, and you see him stuttering like that, they're going to say, that's it. He's got to step down. Someone asked me yesterday, I was talking, there was this New York Post article which was brilliant. Miranda Devine in the New York Post. She was on TV a lot yesterday too. She's brilliant. And she had pointed out that when Biden was in the Camp David security briefing with the Zoom call with the government people up there with, that the clocks were an hour off. They had not been set for the time change. And someone asked me yesterday after the show, well, so what? Who cares about? I said, well, how can they marshal a military response if they can't even get the time right? The clocks were all an hour off. So this weekend, and Biden has back to Delaware to hide out. This is the beginning of the end of the Biden presidency. I'm telling you, get used to President Harris. It's hard to imagine. She'll also have some other significance. She'll also be the shortest president at 5'1" in U.S. history as well. But she's going to be our president, and it very well could happen faster than we think, because this interview with Stephanopoulos is going. When people see the unedited, and you know, if they would have just aired the whole thing, people would be like, oh, you know, we're kind of used to it. But now they've created scandal around it. They're holding back. They haven't released it yet. And then when people see it, it's going to overemphasize the significance of it that it would have been if they just aired it. So the Biden presidency is over. Do you agree or disagree with me on this? I'm not saying what you want. Do you believe that the Biden presidency is over? Yes or no? And is this Stephanopoulos interview what is going to force him to resign or be removed through the 25th Amendment? It's 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back after this.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214, or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE, 1 1-888-GO-CANE. 1. And now, here...
All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. In the first hour, if you've missed it, you missed a lot. But that's okay. We're here till 9. And in the first hour, we were talking about this. It's now come out that ABC, the Stephanopoulos ABC interview, that they edited out a lot that made, I almost said O'Biden, because, you know, Obama has such influence, that made Biden look less incoherent with it. And some very serious cognitive lapses in that interview were edited out. Now there's a push for them to be released. They released the full written transcript that have them, but they will release the edited ones. And your thoughts on that certainly are welcome. Now, yesterday, this incident at the Capitol, you know, this is an interesting story of how the media have handled the story. There was a guy who claimed he had a bomb at the Capitol yesterday. And yesterday, I heard it described as a Trump supporter. Now, a few things about that. First off, if that's true, what's the significance of it? Most violent criminals that are in prison, you know, rapists and murderers, etc., are Democrats. They're Democrats. So, yeah. So anytime that there's a rape or a murder, is it fair to say that rapist, that murderer, was a Democrat? I've never heard such reporting. Since when do they report the political affiliation of criminals? Well, only when they're Republicans, and you know, they described him as a Trump supporter. I question that for two reasons. One, I watched his video. It's in the news stories. You've seen the video, some of it. You know, he claimed to have a bomb, and he was on Facebook Live. So clips of the video are circulating in the news stories online. And if he were a Trump supporter, there for Trump, where's his MAGA hat? If someone is going to that extreme because they're a Trump supporter, wouldn't he have a MAGA hat on? He didn't have a MAGA hat on. In fact, I didn't hear him talking about Trump. And then I noticed this morning the lack of reporting on this story. If, you know, this guy, if he's that much of a Trump supporter, that's what all of his social media and everything are all about. And by this time, if that were true, all you would see were things from his social media showing what a MAGA guy he was. So no Trump hat. If this guy was a Trump supporter doing that because of that, he'd have a MAGA hat on. No doubt about it. Not even a MAGA t-shirt. And if he was a Trump supporter, the media would have his social media all over the internet this morning in every news story. And none of that happened either. So I don't buy that this guy is a Trump guy. Is a MAGA guy. There's something, you know, and even if he is, what he did had nothing to do with that, or he'd have the MAGA hat on. So and the media dropping the story, that's also another big tell. That's just my observation watching it. Believe me, after January 6th, if this guy was a Trump guy, they'd have as much info about that out there on the internet as possible. Right? They're obsessed with January 6th, so they would want to add this to it. The media, you know, the media are very good at what they do, because most people just heard he's a Trump guy. Not many people pick up on what I just shared. Now, Governor DeSantis, our great governor in Florida, was on Hannity last night. And Hannity took a break from giving out his own resume to give out Ron DeSantis' resume. And I knew that Ron DeSantis had a pretty good resume, but I didn't realize how good it was. I'm going to play the audio in a moment. But Ron DeSantis is the greatest governor of all. He's not only the greatest governor in America today, he's the greatest governor ever in the history of governors. I say this all the time because it's so true. I was wearing a T-shirt yesterday. It has Governor DeSantis drinking a beer, and it says Florida open since the whole time, right? And he's just spectacular. And he was on Hannity last night because Biden, day before yesterday, was trying to change the news cycle. He thought he could get the news cycle changed by picking a fight with Ron DeSantis over masks in school as the schools are coming. So Hannity had Ron DeSantis on last night, who I believe is at the top of the list to be Trump's vice president in 2024. And since Trump's second non-consecutive term will be his final term because of term limits, DeSantis is he's our nominee for 2028. If Trump were in his second term right now, DeSantis would be walking into the 24 nomination. But I got two clips here of DeSantis. This is the beginning. Hannity doing what he does best, giving out a resume, but he's giving out Ron DeSantis's resume, not his own, which I know is difficult. He probably gave his resume before. Listen to this. The qualifications of Ron DeSantis are amazing.
I want to go over, you served our nation in the military. You served in the prestigious Navy JAG Corps as a prosecutor, deployed in Iraq with SEAL Team 1 during the 2007 surge, served as a SEAL commander in Fallujah. You served worked for the commander at Gitmo. Your military background is extensive.
Well, I mean, that is some resume. Ron DeSantis, and that's not even his whole resume. But I didn't realize, I knew he was in the service. I knew he was a JAG lawyer. I did not know he was a Navy SEAL. I did not know he was in combat. I did not know he was at Gitmo either. I mean, that's an extensive resume. I mean, this guy, he's like a perfect person, Ron DeSantis, who's just being groomed to be president of the United States. He's going to be a great vice president for Trump. Going to be perfect. So anyway, day before yesterday, Biden, Biden tried to change the news cycle, and what he did two things. First, he called up 2 Democrat school boards and urged them to have a revolt in Florida against Governor DeSantis on mask mandates in schools, which is a very, very controversial thing among parents. Parents get really upset about this. I mean, I can understand if my daughter, she doesn't have it anymore, but when she was younger, like a lot of kids when they're younger, she had asthma. And if my daughter were in high school and middle school and elementary school right now, I don't know what she couldn't wear a mask. She wouldn't be able to breathe, okay? But Biden was trying to change the news cycle off Afghanistan, so he called these school boards and told them that if DeSantis stops paying them, that he'll pay them from the federal treasury through that American Rescue Plan. So and then he went out and attacked DeSantis. So he figures, well, he can get the news cycle changed off Afghanistan by picking a fight. You're never going to win a fight with DeSantis. He's like Trump. You can't win against Trump and you can't win against DeSantis. They're too good. Listen to this. This is Ron DeSantis on Hannity last night. This is his response to Biden trying to pick a fight with him over mask mandates.
I want to go over, you served our nation in the military. You served in the prestigious Navy JAG Corps as a prosecutor.
Oh no, that's the resume again. Hold on. Here, after that long introduction, here is DeSantis' response to Biden.
Well, not only that, he was on vacation. They had to ply him off of vacation to give a kind of a half-cocked statement on camera that he said wasn't taking questions. Then he goes back on vacation, and he is obsessed. While you have all the stuff going on with Afghanistan, obviously all the stuff at the southern border, which you and I have talked about, one of the biggest border disasters in the history of our country, inflation, gas prices. And what does he do? He is obsessed with having the government force kindergartners to wear masks all day in school. In Florida, we believe that that's the parents' decision. Joe Biden thinks the federal government should come in and overrule the parents and force these young kids to wear these masks. And you gotta wonder, where are your priorities that you're so obsessed with this issue and so obsessed with taking away parents' rights, and you're letting Afghanistan burn, our border burn, and so many other things in our country fall to pieces?
Yeah, I mean, that's Ron DeSantis. He is great. And Biden didn't learn from his first confrontation with DeSantis. Don't try to out-debate DeSantis. There's no one better. No one better. Except Trump, of course. No one's as great as Trump, but DeSantis is as close to being as good as Trump as it gets. And, he should. They're close together, and they're a team. We're going to take our break, first break of the second hour. We'll come back with some calls. If you're on hold, stand by. Got a lot more to touch on, too. We've only just scratched the surface. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. My name's Brian. This is The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting.
Steve Kane Show.
Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified.
Don't feel embarrassed to be an American.
Focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 20.
Oh, Ron DeSantis is the best.
Season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hi guys, it's Dr. McFadden. Now that I've joined the Biostation West Delray, we're not just about making you feel good, we're all about making you look good too. Our practitioners are well trained and experienced in the use of Botox, fillers, platelet.
Oh man, it's the weekend. I'm wearing shorts. I'm ready for the weekend. See, you can see. I can't lift my legs up enough. Hold on. But I'm wearing shorts, t-shirt, Florida, man. I'm ready for the weekend. Hour and 43 minutes to go.
320-8893. That's 561-320-8893. And for a limited time only, if you're a Steve Kane listener, 10% off all cosmetic services. And if you happen to be a Steve Kane cruiser, we're going to give you another 10%. That's
Dee in the chat there, her husband is a very talented musician. You're going to hear some of his music on my podcast in a few days. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. All right, guys, we are back 17 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. I just got an email from Mike Lindell's office. I know they're an hour behind us, but they're up. They're always up early. They're MAGA people. They're up. Now, I've been telling you guys that the 100% Giza cotton dream sheets from MyPillow, the sale of the year, flash sale, order them while they last because they're going to run out of stock. Well, they still have those in stock, but the message they told me is they have run out of stock on the MyPillow towels. And the special on the towels, I was telling you guys, regular price on the towels, $110, and it's been $44.98 with the promo code Kane. They ran out of stock on the towels. I'm glad I got mine. So when I tell you to order these Giza cotton dream sheets from Mike Lindell's MyPillow, their lowest price ever, it's a flash sale. Same thing's going to happen there. And it happens without notice. I just got this email this morning early. They wanted to make sure that I wasn't telling you about the towels because they're out of stock right now. So when I tell you this is a flash sale on the MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets, regular price $109.99. With the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, just $49.99. You need to take advantage of this. The reason they run out of stock is because the prices are so low. And if you go to mypillow.com, there's a pop-up screen that comes on to save another $10. So you can actually get those Giza dream sheets for just $39.99. This is the lowest price ever, and this sale will go the way of the other one soon. when they run out of stock. So go to mypillow.com, use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. You see how thoughtful they are? They got up and emailed me early so that I wouldn't promote the towel since they're out of stock on them. They want to make sure that that's great. So take advantage, promo code KANE at checkout. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Yes, Doug.
I didn't know that President Biden called Broward County because we had a meeting on Wednesday in City Hall in Coral Springs discussing the mask, and I got up and said, how is it that you guys, what are you teaching our kids, disobeying and defying an order from our great governor? And they looked at me, firstly, everybody had to have a mask on, and so they couldn't see who was even talking to you, but they shrugged their shoulders and wouldn't answer any questions. People got up.
Well, there was probably a good reason why. This was at City Hall in Coral Springs? Yeah, it's because, Doug, you were griping to the wrong governmental body. The City of Coral Springs City Commissioner has no authority over the schools of the county. You have to go to the Broward County School Board and gripe to them. They were probably looking at you. It's like I remember when Sarah Palin, they were accusing Sarah Palin of banning books from the Wasilla Public Library, the school library, and then people pointed out, including me, well, wait a minute, she was the mayor. She wasn't on the school board. You were griping to the wrong governmental body.
No, the governmental body was the Broward County School Board.
Oh, the school board was at City Hall? Oh, okay.
Of the board and that, this and that.
Yeah. Okay.
After everybody did their speech and had demonstrations showing that the masks don't work up.
Were they all wearing masks?
Everybody has to wear masks. Sickening. And after everybody got up, the one doctor on the team said, well, there's no evidence that masks can...
Yeah, whatever, yeah. Did you have to social distance in the meeting, or could people sit next to each other?
Not only did you have to social distance, when they get up to talk, you're in like a little booth, so all glass around you. So I took my mask so I could talk. Oh no, you have to put your mask on.
Oh my goodness. Was it one of those booths like they used to have on TV where they blow wind and then money's flying around and you get to grab the money? No, okay, all right. Take care, Doug. All right, a little bit of Doug goes a way long way. Yeah, so welcome back, everyone. We'll get back into the issues here, but yeah, what's going on? You know, I really do this. If Biden in his current mental state continues on this path, America will survive and we'll be here in 3 years. But will we be a superpower anymore? We lost so much prestige. We've lost so much power and influence. You know, NATO was griping yesterday, the NATO leaders, well, how can we trust the United States now and everything else? You know, we'll pull out of NATO. You know, and this is the whole deal. We pull out of Afghanistan. This ABC interview, Biden is saying that the generals... See, this is also going to be a big part of him being forced out of office. He said that the generals did not tell him to leave 2,500 troops over there. That's going to come out in the transcript. There's a transcript of that. That transcript's going to come out. Everybody else remembers it except Joe. And when it comes out in the transcript, he really doesn't remember. A lot of people are saying that Biden's lying. I'm not saying that he's not a liar, but that was just a senior moment, or a Biden moment, we call them now. And having someone that's that checked out and that dangerous is not safe. Look at what has happened in Afghanistan. I saw Oliver North on TV last night. Haven't heard from Oliver North in a while. And he is very well connected over there because he did a lot. You know, Oliver North's a great guy, and he did a lot of reporting over in Iraq and Afghanistan for Fox. Remember, he had that show, Oliver North War Stories. And listen to that. He brought up something that I haven't heard anyone bring up. This is really frightening stuff.
been reported the Taliban has captured the payroll data in American Embassy and the Kabul banks, showing the names, addresses, and phone numbers for locals now being hunted down. Sean, I've been in touch over the course of the last several days with folks who are now got at least 1,000 Afghan nationals who worked very closely with us. Some of them were my interpreters when I was on the air with you from Afghanistan. We're trying to get them out before they're hunted down. And now they've got the enemy has the addresses and phone numbers, and they're calling them up, trying to entice them to come on over. When they come over, they're dead.
I mean, that's crazy. So they got their name, they got the payroll information of all of our interpreters and contacts over there, and they're taking them. They're going to their houses and picking them up using our payroll records. What incompetence is going on there that they left the payroll records behind? These people are going to be killed. And you know what? Not only are they going to be killed, it's going to be public, and their families are going to be killed too. All because Joe Biden is checked out. Now, again, the question is, and I was amazed, some people picked up on this. I had something yesterday, and it sounded conspiratorial, but I talked about it, and others were talking about it yesterday. And since others are talking about it, that means it's gaining some strength, and it's about the lithium supply. And see, after we took over Afghanistan, we did a geological survey of the entire country and found out that there's all kinds of minerals over there, including gold. But what they found that was most shocking to everyone is that Afghanistan has the largest lithium supply in the world. Lithium is a necessary component to the batteries for the electric cars and hybrid cars. And now China is going to have that. So, and I was so glad to hear other people talking about this yesterday, because I thought I sounded a little crazy doing it. I even was reluctant to bring it up, but I thought it made sense knowing Biden with China. And the question is, did he sell Afghanistan to China? Did Joe Biden sell Afghanistan to China? It looks that way, doesn't it? No one knew about the lithium deposits, not at that level, before 9/11. Made it a lot more. Yeah, Nigel Farage tweeted about it. That's how I heard about it. But others, I talked about it yesterday, and now others in American media were bringing this up on different television cable channels yesterday, which blew my mind. And I knew all along, Biden's primary purpose is to enrich himself and his family. His entire family, they're all bums, right? They're all bums. His son that passed away, he was the only one that worked. His brother and Hunter and everybody else in the family are bums. Now they think they're, Hunter's so checked out. He thinks he's a businessman and an executive, and the loser brother thinks he's a real estate person and all this stuff. But they have all these fake deals. It's like the Clinton Foundation that Biden sets up, and Biden and they split. He's got a big family. They split the money up so many ways, and they piss it away like nobody's business. I believe they've spent a lot of the money that they've gathered from the corruption, and Biden knows this is the last opportunity for him to enrich his family so that they can live in the lifestyle that they've been accustomed to. Hunter, drugs, and hookers. And I wouldn't put it past him. And everything that has come out about Biden in the last 5 days, and I'm not talking about the fall of Afghanistan, I'm talking about the cognitive problems, this thing I'm talking about with China and the lithium deposits, the largest in the world. And China, they have a lot. They do a lot of business on electric vehicles, and electric vehicles are big in China. They're replacing their bicycles with them. They have very small electric vehicles that are going to make their way to the U.S. market soon, but they're if they're not already, they certainly will be the largest manufacturer of electric cars. And that lithium, well, it's a necessary and major component of it. And now they got control over it. Courtesy of Biden. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I really don't. I really don't. All right, listen, we're going to take our break here for the bottom of the hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker. I broke my tooth. I fractured it and went backwards in my mouth.
Oh my
front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later. And I said, what am I going to do? You know? And the dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton.
Oh, yeah, what I was going to tell you, Dee. I was going to have my wife message you, but I'll just tell you now. Dee's husband is a musician. He does a lot of independent music. I'm going to share some of the music on my podcast. You'll probably hear it next week. What I'm going to do, Dee, is I'm going to take Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you, everyone. Thank Jacqueline. What I'm going to do, Dee, is I'm going to make a commercial with the song. As opposed to playing the whole song, you may have heard me do some commercials advertising music on my podcast. That's what I'm going to do with that song. So it'll take me a few days because I'm busy this weekend. I'll try to get to it over the weekend. But by the beginning of the week, I'll get to it. And then I'll tell you guys where you can get the music on my podcast.
You Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's been over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's,
Do any of you know who Doug TenNapel is? Have you seen what he's done recently? I don't want to get into it because I don't, but have you seen what Doug TenNapel has been doing lately? Anybody? It's you know what I'm talking about, Lisa? Don't get into it. Don't. I mean, it's so bizarre. I don't know what his game is. Why do you say he's an idiot? Why? I don't know too much about Doug TenNapel. Yes, that was yes. Richard Taco. I mean, what is with this Richard Taco thing? It's oh yeah, Doug in Exile, so you know Doug TenNapel. Yeah, this Richard Taco thing. I was like, what? All right, welcome back. 32 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. That's right, and still going strong. You know, Biden. You know, you've heard people say Biden was in favor of the withdrawal from Saigon. You know, the fall of South Vietnam was a terrible thing, mostly for the people of South Vietnam, where they had a major bloodletting, like is happening as we speak in Afghanistan. But liberals look at the fall of Saigon as just an exciting moment in American history. They think it's a great thing. And I have not heard that she's made any changes. Today, Kamala Harris is heading off to Vietnam. She's taking a Southeast Asian trip with a stop in Vietnam, which, of course, you can't go to Vietnam unless you go to Saigon, which is now called Ho Chi Minh City. And the U.S. Embassy in Saigon is now a museum. It's a war museum. And we learned this back in 2004 when John Kerry was running for president. Someone visited the U.S. Embassy Museum in Ho Chi Minh City. They got John Kerry's picture, at least they did in 2004, on the wall, crediting him with helping them win the war. And Kamala Harris going to Vietnam during this with the symbolism is just beyond imagination of, I mean, I don't know what that's about. But Joe Biden was opposed. Now I'm going to play this audio here for you in a minute. Joe Biden in 1975 was opposed to evacuating the Vietnamese when Saigon was falling. Who would be against that? I know the North Vietnamese were against it, but what kind of American would be opposed to evacuating the South Vietnamese during the fall of Saigon? It's very it's wackadoodle to think that way. But Biden thinks that not only was it the right thing to do then, throughout his entire life, it's one of the stories he tells. I'm going to play you the audio. And he's at a funeral for, is it McGovern? Was this George McGovern's funeral he was speaking at? And of course he goes to a person's funeral, eulogizes them and makes it all about him, of course. And he tells this story. Bragging about a conversation he had with President Ford at the White House briefing room, and they were in the cabinet room. Listen to this. This is Joe Biden bragging about how it was the right thing to do to not evacuate Vietnamese from Vietnam during the fall of Saigon.
I looked at President Ford and I said, trying to be very proper, I said, begging the president's pardon, but I'm sure if the president were in my position, the president would ask the president the following question. Swear to God, it's in the transcript. And Ford looked at me very graciously and said, yeah? I said, with all due respect, Mr. President, you haven't told us anything. Remember, Jim, we were talking about Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. And with that, the president turned and said, Henry, tell them.
Kissinger.
It was the first time. It was decided that we were not going to. We were not going to try to sustain our presence. And it was about 5 weeks later, helicopters were taking off the roof. Not because of me. I mean, that was the plan. But the point was, I remember walking out of there thinking, I was right. I got to go to Washington.
Yeah, I was right. Well, that's what's most important. No, you were wrong, as always, Biden. And he went on. He at the time, keep in mind, he was in the Senate at the time, and he said, I will vote for any amount of money for getting Americans out, Biden said at an April 14th, 1975 Senate committee meeting. Then he says, I don't want it mixed up with getting the Vietnamese out. This guy, you know why he didn't want to get the Vietnamese out? You know why? Because he's a bigot and they're Asian. That's why. You know? And he's an uncaring person. You know, when you see him in that interview with George Stephanopoulos, and Stephanopoulos brings up the people falling out of the planes. Oh, that was 4 or 5 days ago, man, even though it wasn't true. That's a sick, sad, demented man. Now, Biden and the White House are in a panic. Jen Psaki has not had a press conference in how many days now? Will today be the third day? There is a crisis going on, an international crisis. We have a collapse of one of our closest allies in the war on terror, Afghanistan. It's all because we have U.S. forces at an airport surrounded by an enemy army, the Taliban. We have thousands and thousands of U.S. citizens being held hostage behind enemy lines. And there's been no press conference for days. And Biden has left the White House. He says he can't sleep. He's going back to Delaware. You know, Biden is so spiteful. Do you think the Trumps left behind My Pillows in they probably did, but he won't sleep on those My Pillows because, you know, those are MAGA pillows, so he doesn't want to sleep. So he's gone back to Delaware for the weekend. No press, no questions, no nothing, except this embarrassing interview, probably to hide out from the leaks of the ABC interview. So CNN, I mean, this is astounding. CNN's programming is mostly exposing the failures of Joe. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. I know I got a lot of stuff here this morning. I've been slow going to the calls. Part of that is the calls I've taken so far this morning have been such low quality. I'm reluctant to go to the phones. I want to talk to you guys, so hold on, guys. If you'd like to call in and you've got some thoughts, they're certainly welcome. But the calls I've taken so far this morning, I mean, I'm like embarrassed. I took, especially the first call that I took today. The guy from Nebraska, I was like, oh my goodness. I can't take calls just to take calls. We want to have quantity, not we want to have quality. I got it backwards. We want to have quality callers, not quantity all the time. But enjoy it while it lasts. But CNN is doing some damn good reporting exposing Biden. I'm going to give the devil their due. Now, next week, they may be back to their old business already. Trump has a rally tomorrow. So. But since they're CIA controlled, they want Biden out. So listen to that. This is CNN talking about the failure of Biden. This is live on CNN, the failure of Biden in Afghanistan.
We're getting news this morning. The New York Times is reporting there's a UN threat assessment out there where the Taliban is actually searching for people who may have helped the United States or the United Nations. This is just a dire situation for people who are promised that they would get safe passage.
It is a dire situation, and you have to appreciate, John, when you're watching that package or that piece that you just saw, we're Western journalists. We're getting the VIP treatment here, okay? This is not the treatment that the scores of Afghans who've basically been camped outside that airport for days are getting.
Now, that's astounding, because that's always the case. The media always get a nice view of things because people around them put on a good show for the media. I've never heard the media, especially the liberal media, point that out before. Again, this is CNN.
They're getting shot. They're getting whipped. Okay, we had, a close call, and it was uncomfortable, certainly, and a little bit frightening. But for the people who are trying to get into that airport, they're literally risking life and limb. And even if they get past,
I'm gonna do that story
Taliban
next. Don't worry.
Security there, trying to then get past British or U.S. Forces. Because if their paperwork isn't properly in order, if they don't have an appropriate chaperone, if they don't...
Okay, now keep in mind, these are Taliban. You got to have your paperwork and an appropriate chaperone for the Taliban.
Chaperone if they don't... I mean, there's so many. There's just a ream of hurdles that they have to cross in order to get out. We have heard
Steve Kane Show.
Of people doing it, and I
Hold
heard
on,
of one this
Steve
morning,
Kane
an
Show.
Afghan
Hold on.
interpreter for
Steve
the
Kane
U.S.
Show.
military who managed to get out, sent a picture of him and his family inside the airport hangar. So there are cases of it, but when you think that you need potentially to evacuate tens of thousands of people, 50, 60,000 people, a trickle managing to get in every day is just not going to cut it. It is just an absolute mess. And we heard President Biden say yesterday in his comments to ABC News that this is not a failure. And I think a lot of people outside that airport, particularly those taking the kinds of extreme actions we're just talking about, would like to know, if this isn't failure, what does failure look like exactly?
Wow, I mean, that is CNN. That's astounding. If this isn't failure, Biden's failure, what exactly is failure? Wow. Rabbi David, good morning.
Hi, it's Rabbi David. How are you?
That's why I said Rabbi David, good morning.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay. All right, Rabbi, go ahead.
I think it won't take long before CNN starts up again, the anti-Trump, which I saw yesterday. I have to tell you, I don't know if you caught it. It was Kate Baldwin, I think her name is.
Oh, Kate Baldwin is really, she's always looks pissed off.
She is, and she's married to like this billionaire guy, and she's
oh really?
The wife, but she's married to the big investment company, whatever. But the whole show is focused on Trump being a racist because he wants Americans to be saved and not Afghans. That was the.
Well, listen, on the Titanic, it's women and children first, and then the men. It's not like we want the men to die. I mean, there's a process, so it's Americans first.
That's right. I mean, Trump made a comment. President Trump made a comment that all those people on that plane. He said, "How come American citizens weren't the first priority to get out?" And that's what from that one comment, they made a whole show on CNN. I mean,
wow,
they are fishing Trump.
That's fishing, yeah. Well, that's unusual. CNN, for the most part, though, on this, I think are doing pretty good because they're pissed at Biden.
I don't know if it's going to come down to getting him out. That's a big deal. That's a real, or as Biden would say, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I think I think that would take a lot. So they're going to have to really run circles and figure out. We're going to see some real tap dancing on how they're going to have to cover this and make a new story of it. But on the other hand, it's going to get messier and messier. This is not going to clean up in a.
CNN, with that little comment, I mean, she hates. She always looks like she has hemorrhoids to me. The look on her face. She's married to a billionaire and she's on national TV. I don't know why she's pissed off all the time. Yeah.
And
maybe her husband reminds her of Trump or something, because she has no reason other than be the happiest woman in the world.
Her husband's in real estate investment.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so she's probably with him for the money. By the way, do you have Netflix?
Yeah, sure.
There's a new show you might like on Netflix. Jews should. Well, I like it. There's a new show called The Defeated on Netflix. It's a show, and it's a it has U.S. cast and German cast. It takes place in Germany right after the war, and it's about a New York City police detective who is sent to Berlin to help set up the police department after the war, and it's really well done. And his brother is a Nazi hunter who's a serial killer of Nazis he's picking up from the camps. He was in Dachau. So you would like it. Now, you don't have to be a Jew to like it. I watched like 3 episodes last night. But I think it shows a lot about Jewish life in Berlin after the war. It's pretty good.
I'll be happy to watch it. I'll tell you something. You influenced me. I believe you had mentioned in the past Downton Abbey.
Oh, yes.
Fan of that show?
Yes.
I started. I'm on whatever season. Because of you, I started watching it. Well, he said it was okay. I'll try it. It's a good show.
Yeah, Downton Abbey's all right. I've not seen the Downton Abbey movie, but you gotta watch the whole thing But you'll like this show. I was watching. I've done a lot of reading on the Nazis and everything, and I even took a class in college, on it. But there was a new documentary on Amazon Prime about Hitler, and I was about to watch it, and I watched the trailer first, and they're showing a trailer. It's all clips of Hitler, and then all of a sudden there's a clip of Trump, and they're talking about how fascists come to power. I didn't watch it after that. I was like, are you kidding me?
You know something? My wife asked me this. A lot of regular comedy shows or anything you're watching, there'll at some point be a comment. Some point she was watching. I forgot what show it was. Some point, I think it was Jane the Virgin or something. One of these, the shows on, popular shows. There'll always be infused in there. Somehow, somewhere, they've got to go anti-Trump.
Yeah.
Strange mentality that goes on. And here you go. Even a movie about Hitler. I mean, especially a movie about Hitler they're going for.
Yeah, exactly. There's no comparison. In fact, Hitler was a socialist, like they are. So I don't know what it's they call them the Nazis, but it's the National Socialist People's Workers Party, and they abbreviate it to Nazi because they don't want to have to say socialist all the time when they're talking about Hitler.
Just to jump back what you said about the Hunter and these guys get money for their family. The lithium thing you mentioned is very interesting because remember what Hunter was part of in China and in the Ukraine? Energy companies. That's where he became the businessman with energy companies.
Well, yeah, and China not only is manufacturing electric cars for themselves, they have several models of electric cars that they're making for the U.S. market that are really cheap, not like Teslas. And the biggest problem with the electric vehicles is the batteries, the lithium, and I did not realize, this was not known before 9/11. The United States did a geological survey of Afghanistan, and they are rich in all kinds of minerals, gold as well, but they have the largest lithium deposits in the world. And so the question is, do you think that that Biden sold Afghanistan to China?
I think Biden, and we know already, Biden has bragged about his corruption.
Yeah.
Learned maybe to stop bragging about it, but I think this guy I think you pointed it out very clearly. He's corrupt and he's dementia. These two worlds are coming together.
Well, this is what, okay. You know, I had a grandfather who had Alzheimer's, and here in Florida, there's all kinds of people that have different stages of these. And people that are suffering from severe cognitive decline, this is my personal experience, and you guys out there, when someone's suffering from severe cognitive decline, they cover it up by being angry. So for some reason, when they're angry, they can be more coherent, they think. So they get angry. And you've got a mix of two things that are very dangerous with Biden. You've got a man who's corrupt, very corrupt, and the cognitive decline, and the fits of rage and anger, that's what you got.
Dementia, you're right. The people think that don't know about dementia. They think that dementia just is a babbling idiot. The fact is, you can be cognizant for 5 minutes and speaking normally. That's why people say, "Look, he spoke for 5 minutes. He was fine." That doesn't mean anything. It comes and goes, and in and out, and then he walks off into the woods. You know, it is not black or white.
Yeah.
And it's something that's why it's very dangerous, because
Yeah. Well, hey, Rabbi, I got to run, but check out that show. It's called The Defeated. It's on Netflix. Some of it's in English and some of it's in subtitles. It's a police. I told my wife, I said, I found the perfect show. It's a perfect mix for me. It's a crime detective show and a World War II Nazi show. So I'll get it. I like it. So check it out. Okay. Take care. Well, that might be like years, because there's a lot of Downton Abbey to go around. All right. It is time to take our last break of the second hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking up in pain almost every morning for years and years, and we had bought a new mattress not that long ago, but it still was not doing the trick. So I said to you, let's get the MyPillow mattress topper, and let's see if it helps or makes any kind of a difference. And I have to tell you, after sleeping on it just one night, I woke up, no pain, I felt incredible. It made a huge difference for me. And the pain has not returned.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Now go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow mattress topper and do what Kathy and I did. Use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. And this is an incredible deal, because with the promo code KANE, you will save 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper and get 2 free MyPillows. But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, KANE, at MyPillow.com.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the BioStation West Delray. At BioStation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all cosmetic modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Brian Craig here. You've heard us talk about the great low prices Friendly Tire has on new tires and used tires. They also do tire repairs. Listen to one of our listeners talk about their experience at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hey Brian, my name is Mike. Just wanted to call and say thank you. I had a problem with my car. I had a flat tire. It was going down really quick. I'm in Coral Springs. I had to go somewhere close by. They couldn't really fix it. So I remember you guys are talking about Friendly Mike at Friendly Tires. So I said, listen, Mike, I need a couple of tires. I told him my son. He goes, I got them. I go, I'll see you tomorrow. They were really cheap. I go over there, and Mike said, which tires do you want to replace? They look relatively new. I said, they are. I just got a big hole in that one. And they said they couldn't be fixed. He goes, pull your vehicle in. I pulled the vehicle in. He took the tire off. He pulled out the plug that the guy in Coral Springs put in there, and he heat shielded it. He kind of patched it or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. And he goes, you don't need any tires. He goes, I fixed that one. Give me $20. But the guy in Coral Springs wanted $500 for
Mike at Friendly Tire or call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone.
75 beats a minute.
954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire.
All right, we are back 6 before 8. I got a story that you think Biden's low. Wait till you hear this one. He's lower than you thought. I just want to mention one thing from yesterday's show. I did make a YouTube video on this, so you guys that follow me on YouTube may have seen it. But yesterday during the show, I was having some problems with my blood pressure and everything. I was having some problems. In the last 90 minutes of the show, I was really nervous about being on the... I don't even really remember the show too much yesterday. And I could tell my heart was beating. My pulse was very high. And the last 20 minutes of yesterday's show in particular, the last hour was very rough. In the last 20 minutes, I felt like I was going to collapse during the whole show. But the show must go on. And what had happened is I have a prescription medication that I'm on for something. And you're supposed to take it with food. I usually take it after I have dinner, at night, at home, and go to bed. I took it yesterday during the show on an empty stomach because I don't eat. And it was I didn't take my prescription medication with food. That is what caused the problem yesterday. So I know it was really scary. And in fact, today I wore my Apple Watch, which I never wear, but so I can take care of, in case I had the problem again, which I shouldn't because I didn't take the medication like that. And my pulse has been pretty low, 84 right now as I'm speaking to you, just to monitor my pulse on my Apple Watch. So that's what happened yesterday, guys. Some of you were getting. I even got a call from my mother yesterday. She's like, "What's wrong? You okay?" You know. I said, "If something happened to me, you'd know." All right, now Joe Biden's a lowlife. There's no question about that. There is he has done something here in Afghanistan that is so scummy, and I'm going to share it with you here. Now, there's a movie that I love with Robert Redford called Brubaker. Any of you guys ever see Brubaker with Robert Redford? It's a very good movie. He plays a prison warden, and there's a roof collapse in the movie, and the doctor he finds out is charging the prisoners for health care in the prison. And if you got no money, you don't get treatment by the doctor. You know, and it's a pretty low-life thing. You know, what a corrupt public official, right, that would do such a thing. Well, that's nothing compared to Joe Biden and this government. Listen to this. Joe Biden will address the nation today for the second time this week on what the White House say will be an update on evacuations of Americans and Afghan translators from Kabul. Now, there's more than just translators that need help. There's a lot of people over there that have been working for us. They might be a secretary, or they may be a driver. It's not just translators. And Oliver North was reporting on Fox News last night. I played the clip earlier. Oliver North reported that at the embassy, these idiots at the State Department, at the embassy, left their payroll records behind of everyone doing work for the U.S. government in Afghanistan. That's not just translators and secretaries and drivers. That's paid informants as well. And Oliver North said, because he's in contact with people over there, that they just are taking the payroll. And they're going to the addresses and ripping people out of their homes. And that's the State Department's fault. It's not just translators, Biden. Biden said Wednesday he believes 15,000 American citizens remain in Afghanistan, and there are 50 to 65,000 Afghans that the U.S. would like to help leave. Now listen to this. This is the scummiest, this is like that doctor in Brubaker. This is the scummiest, most low-life thing I have ever heard in my life. I'm telling you, in my life, that the U.S. government has done. Now, you're watching these people. Wait till you get to this next part, okay? You're seeing these people that have made it through the Taliban lines and have gotten to the airport. You see the women that are taking their babies and handing them to soldiers and then they leave. they figure leaving their children in the hands of strangers with guns is a better life than what they'll have under Taliban rule. Listen to this. Yesterday, Ned Price, he's that State Department spokesperson. Ned Price yesterday said they expect 6,000 people to be evacuated on U.S. flights overnight. And he was forced to announce a reversal of charging $2,000 per evacuee for the flight. And so, yeah, Biden was going to charge these Afghans. How many of you have $2,000 and you're living in a first world country and you need to have it for every member of your family? $8,000, $10,000, $12,000? Biden was going to charge them $2,000 a person for the flight. Can you imagine? Now they're reversing it only because it got leaked out on social media. This is what it said. Repatriation flights are not free. Passengers will be required to sign the $2,000 per person, sometimes more per person. An unnamed State Department spokesperson initially stood by the $2,000 per person charge, telling Politico that it's required by U.S. law. However, Ned Price at the State Department on Thursday backtracked. In these unique circumstances, we have no intention of seeking any reimbursement from those fleeing Afghanistan, he said. Are you out of your freaking mind? Remember, they only stopped it because they got caught and it went on social media. That's scummy, man. That is so damn scummy. I'm embarrassed. Are you embarrassed? You know, they're representing the United States asking for money like that. And who left the damn payroll behind for all our informants over there? 2 hours down, 1 to go. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. I want to hear from you guys out there. I've been talking a lot today. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Attention seniors and those...
Steve Kane Show.
This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors.
That's really scummy. That's the scummiest thing I've ever freaking heard.
How are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy,
Steve Kane Show.
Problems refilling a prescription or feel that you're being
Now, hold on.
mischarged for something, you can contact us.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything to help you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in...
I don't know. That's really disgusting, charging these people. That is so freaking disgusting.
Concierge service to senior
Hey,
citizens.
Sarah.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20.
Sarah, I need to text you something. Can you text me so I remember? Because I got to text you a message. And I'll forget. I meant to text you the other day. And I forgot. And I know I'll forget. Sarah goes on her cruises. She has mine. Everyone that goes on the cruises, I give them my cell phone number.
iwilladvocates.com. Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority.
So we can coordinate while we're on the ship. But I gotta tell you something, and I keep forgetting.
We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul
Nope, just got it. I have to text you after I'm off the air.
That's 954-597.
Oh, got it on my watch too. I haven't worn my Apple Watch in so long. It's something I can't say to the whole crew here. When I text you, you'll know why.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Well, you know what they say about opinions. I wish it was leaving today. I'm ready to go. They've been cruising out of Florida for 2 months. No problems.
Call the show toll free. Dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE 1. And now, here's Steve.
All right, third and final hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. If you just tuned in, I broke a story right before the top of the hour. Biden was going to charge the Afghan that were evacuating $2,000 a person to evacuate them. So you know, come on, who's got $2,000 per person? You got the husband and the wife. Some of them have the husband and the wives, right? Some of these guys got more than one wife, and they have how many kids? 2,000 each. Biden only stopped it because they got busted and it made its way to the social media, made its way to the Twitter. It's pretty low life, you know. That's what people over there think of this country, doing something like that. It's pretty scummy. Think he'll take questions from the press today? Will any of them ask about that low life comment, that low life policy? Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hey, Vincent Wellington, what's going on?
Hey, Wellington. What's happening?
I just think it's kind of crazy that they left our manifest of all the people that worked for us there.
Well, what happened was Oliver North broke this on Fox yesterday, Lieutenant Colonel, the great Oliver North, that these idiots at the State Department left the payroll records at the embassy, which includes the payroll records of not just translators, but anyone who did work for us, including informants that are probably some of them embedded in terror cells. And they're going to their house and ripping them out of the houses.
Well, maybe that's the reason why they don't know exactly how many people were left there, because they left our payroll there and everything else, all the paperwork that really tells you. I don't know. I mean,
first off, there should be no payroll. All those people should have been getting paid in cash. That tells you the government. There shouldn't be that type of paper trail at all because of the security, but Democrats, it's probably for taxes, for tax purposes. But to leave that behind, whoever, people who work for the government are incompetent. That's why they work for the government. Whoever left that behind is a murderer.
Well, I think that, it's kind of funny how Cuomo was the topic right before this, and they're just trying to wipe away so much of what we were talking about here because of what's going on there. I mean, the things that are in the news is just like one day.
Well, hold on. But what's going on there is going to be here. The terrorists now have their own country again, and I read this morning that the Taliban now control more territory than before 9/11. They didn't control all of Afghanistan before 9/11, apparently. I did not know that. And we know what happens in Afghanistan does not necessarily stay in Afghanistan. Remember the planes that hit the buildings. So, this is, we're in a dangerous, dangerous time because of this old corrupt coot that's running the country right now.
I just fear for the Christians that live over there on that side of
Well, the Christians are being ripped out of their houses too. There's a story on that going on already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's who those people are trying to get out of there. They don't believe in what they're going to be forced to believe in. I mean, it's just kind of sad that we're going to have to watch another 9/11 type event.
Well, hopefully we don't. I mean, what do you think about these lowlives in the Biden administration that want to charge $2,000 per person to these Afghans that have been working for us these 20 years? What kind of scummy people are those?
I just don't know how they haven't all resigned already. I mean, I don't know how there's not people walking away from this guy already. I mean, how long is it going to take? What's it going to take?
Yeah.
Millie, that guy, yeah, he looks like he should be wearing a bathing suit or something. You know what I mean? The guy doesn't seem like he's a general. When you see him, he moves like somebody who's going to do your nails.
Really? You mean like in a feminine way?
Yeah, if you watch him, if you see the way he approaches the situation, he walks into a room, it's very, very daunting the way that he walks in there, and it's just like he's almost kind of feminine the way he does everything. Which, I mean, hey, I know many men that are fine like that, but I don't know any generals like that. You know?
Who's more feminine in your observation? Now think about this. Okay, General Milley or Mayor Pete?
And Mayor Pete.
Mayor Pete's more feminine. Okay.
For sure.
Now, do somebody just texted me and thinks they left the payroll behind on purpose. I don't. That is. Let me tell you something. I've heard of a lot. People in government are incompetent, as I say, by nature. That's why they're in government. But that is. Whoever left the payroll, and again, these are payroll records that go back 20 years, and there were people that were helping us 15 or 20 years ago that aren't anymore that are in those payroll records. Yeah. So, whoever left those behind is going to be responsible for a mass murder, a purge of I don't know how many people over 20 years that would be. If there's 50 or 65,000 now, how many have there been in total in those payroll records over 20 years? And like I say, some of these are people that are embedded probably with terror cells. And what if you have the same name as they're going? Not only do they have their names in the payroll records, they have their home addresses, and they're going to. And the Taliban have already, according to Oliver North, are going to their homes and ripping them out of them.
Well, I wonder what this is going to mean for Israel, and what this means for the Iranians, and what this means for the rest of the Middle East. That's going to be kind of on fire now, because they're going to have a new reign of power that's growing outside their borders.
Well, apparently, I was listening to an analyst who said this is much worse than pre-9/11 Afghanistan. Because even though terrorists were operating over there, Al-Qaeda, it was more on the down low. Now it's like open. The terrorists from all over the world now have a safe place to operate. It's like Libya in the 80s.
Ice cream? That was...
Ice cream?
You didn't see the video of the Afghanis eating a bunch of ice cream? Biden?
No, I did not see that.
My goodness. Brian, I'm telling you, it's the funniest video you got.
Oh, I gotta go look at that one. Where was it? It's like a parody video?
I mean, I don't exactly remember where I found it at, but I've seen it multiple times from different people.
I'll take a look. All right, Wellington, take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Well, this is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike. Usually you call in the first hour. What are you doing up at this hour?
Well, I've begun to go exercise and stuff, and this is the coup for the day, so,
Oh, you're exercising now. What do you do? What kind of exercise are you doing? Walking, lifting, gym?
Biking.
Biking? I have a bike. I don't know. Do you have a new? Is it a new bike or an old bike?
Oh, it's a new custom-made tricycle.
A tricycle? You're riding a tricycle?
Well, yeah. I have balance problems at times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to, fall over and get...
I noticed, I was telling somebody, I got a bike I've had for many, many years, but I noticed now all the new guys and girls that ride bikes around, they have these big, huge, fat tires on them. Have you noticed that? I don't know. Does anyone? Why do all the new bikes have these huge, fat tires?
No. I mean, I noticed that too. I mean, I remember back when...
Well, you didn't call in to talk about bicycles. What's on your mind?
Right. This whole thing is, we knew it was bad before, but this whole thing is emblematic of the corruption that this guy has been steeped in for decades, you know, that Biden has been steeped in for decades, you know. I mean, it reminds me of that scene in Apollo 13 when everything was kind of going in heck, and at the beginning of the time and space, and Gene Kranz goes, "You're telling me this is a government operation?"
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's what this reminds me
Maybe
of.
I should go back
You're
to the bicycles
telling me,
with him.
okay, we've got an embassy, we've got these informants, we got our payroll, and we leave the payroll. You're telling me this is a government operation?
Yeah, we leave the payroll. Yeah, we leave the payroll behind with their home addresses and names and everything, and the Taliban are taking them out of their homes and doing what they do.
Right, and no wonder these people were willing to grab onto the wheel wells of this C-130 or whatever it was, and risk, you know, falling off as the plane was.
Yeah.
No wonder what doing.
So how far do you ride your tricycle every day?
Around my neighborhood, it's about 1.25 miles.
Do you have like a basket behind it to put like things in, like groceries and stuff?
Yeah.
No, okay. You sound a lot younger than you really are. You sound like a young guy. You're like older. You overweight.
You and I are about the same age. I'm 48.
Okay. And are you like obese? Are you obese?
No, but I've got, you know, I'm kind of borderline diabetic and all that.
Oh. You know, I got someone on YouTube left me a message this week. I get a lot of I read all my comments on YouTube that I can, and there was a listener, a lady, she'd been listening to me on the radio for 30 years and saw what I look like for the first time on YouTube the other day. And she didn't say whether I looked good or bad, so I take it, I guess I look bad. I don't know, but she you know, but the tricycle thing, there used to be this guy in my neighborhood. He had one of those tricycles, and it was missing one of the wheels on the back, and he used to ride it on its side, on two wheels. I know, is that crazy?
This thing is a custom made, cost me almost $1,000.
No. I'm just giving him a hard time. I'm just giving him a hard time, Christine.
It's a very good, very.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why you're on the tricycle and not a two-wheeler. You have balance problems. What, did you have a head injury or something?
No, it's my motor skills aren't up to snuff. My fine and gross motor.
Were you in an accident?
No, it's been that way since birth.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I took my bike. I usually have my bike. I shouldn't give you. I'm giving you. I have my bike. It's been hanging for the last like 3 years from a hook in my garage, and I took it off the hook, and the tires were flat. So I filled up the tires with the bike pump, and by the time I was done, I was tired from filling the tires. I'm like, I'm too tired to go bike riding now. I'll ride it another day. Just filling up the tires was enough exercise for me. Yeah. All right. Take care, man. Mike in Louisiana on the tricycle. All right. We'll take a break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 bald tires in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody had, the tires I was looking at had any mileage guarantee. His is a 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, they're twice as good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old
old tires, the prices that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
Everybody should go in. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else.
9440, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. This interview. One, I was talking earlier, was apparently ABC did something very interesting thing there. They released a very edited interview, and then they released a full written transcript that has the parts that were edited out. And what's come out is that there are many parts of this interview where Biden was slipping cognitively. And those parts of the interview, they edited out. And what's starting to happen now is people are calling for the edited out portions. And this interview, without question, will be the end of his presidency here. And I want to play. This is Oliver North talking about the payroll being left behind at our embassy.
It's been reported the Taliban has captured the payroll
Steve Kane Show.
of the American embassy and the Kabul banks, showing the names.
Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
For locals now being hunted down. Sean, I've been in touch over the course of the last several days with folks who are now got at least 1,000 Afghan nationals who worked very closely with us. Some of them were my interpreters when I was on the air with you from Afghanistan. We're trying to get them out before they're hunted down. And now they've got the enemy has the addresses and phone numbers, and they're calling them up, trying to entice them to come on over. When they come over, they're dead.
Okay. So, what that is, they trick them, right? It's like they used to do this thing. I think they stopped doing this. I think the good doer liberal bleeding heart stopped this, but to pick up guys that had outstanding warrants, they would call them up and tell them they'd won like World Series tickets. They show up for their tickets and they get arrested. You know what I'm talking about? Pretty frightening stuff there. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Morning. It's Joey from Delray.
Joey in Delray. What's up?
How you doing?
All right.
Just connecting some dots here, and I saw a report this morning that, and I'm going to lead up to something here, that Toyota is closing down plants and dropping production of their autos. You can't really buy a new car right now because the computer chips, I guess they're on hold from China or something, from what I've heard. It seems to me that there's going to be a little phasing out of cars that require fossil fuel. And as you know, the new Green Deal is pushing electric cars. And as you know, the batteries that make electric cars run are made from lithium and zinc.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, Afghanistan is full of those.
They have the largest. Afghanistan has the largest lithium deposits in the world.
There you go. So I think this whole thing is about the lithium and about the Biden family getting their piece of it.
No, I mentioned this yesterday. I've been talking about that for 2 days, and I agree with you. I first learned of it from Nigel Farage, tweeted about it a couple days ago. The great Nigel Farage in the UK, and I think there's something to be said about that. California, Newsom, he signed a bill out there to at the whatever year it was, they'll no longer be selling fossil fueled vehicles in California. Biden backed up something very similar to that about 3-4 weeks ago, and yeah, there's definitely something to be said with that.
Brian, is that I don't think it's going to benefit American businessmen other than the sale of automobiles. I think China is going to be the ones that are going to mine this mineral, and they're going to be in control of it.
Yeah.
So they will also have the upper hand on the auto industry in America.
Well, yeah, and I was some of this earlier. China has developed a whole bunch of electric vehicles that are like affordable, that they're starting to release in U.S. markets. And it's always, when you look at someone about Biden, it's always about the money. Follow the money. The only time Democrats and liberals want to follow the money is when it's a Republican. But you follow the money there, and China is the first country to recognize the Taliban as the legitimate leaders of Afghanistan. And it's for the. You're right. It's for the lithium. I believe that more than ever. So the question is, I asked Rabbi David this earlier. Did Biden sell Afghanistan to China?
You can bet on that.
Oh.
You can bet on that. And
what a sick man. And when someone is that sadistic, that selfish, Biden doesn't think he's a bad guy. He thinks he's taking care of his family. He thinks he's the greatest dad and husband there ever is. Yeah, he thinks he's a hero with that.
Yeah. No, it's pathetic. And the problem is with China, as most Americans, well, they don't admit to it. People are still in denial about the biological attack.
Yeah, well, China, the thing that Trump did two things that turned the tables against him by the forces that even he could not overcome. Okay? One was the General Flynn issue. That's what turned the deep state again. I told you, he met with Obama. When he was president-elect, Trump went to the White House and met with President Obama, and Obama said, you can hire whoever you want, but don't hire General Flynn. He left the room and hired General Flynn. That's what turned that against him. But the thing, if I were interviewing President Trump, I would talk to him about these things, And this other thing is, I think what turned things against Trump more than anything was equalizing the trade deals, the import-export taxes between the United States, China, and all of the world, because these humongous companies that own, everyone it's all legal. Congress makes the laws, so they make laws that make their corruption legal. And everyone in Congress pretty much is on the take, and they're on the take by these multinational corporations through donors, and these international corporations, their entire business model was set up over the out of balance trade. And when President Trump would say our leaders were stupid to have these trade deals like this, he was being kind. He knows about this more than I do. They were out of balance by design. They've been selling out our country since 1945 with these trade deals. And when he equalized the trade deals, he turned the billionaires against him, and billionaires that are bigger billionaires than he is, and all of them against him with those trade deals. The trade deals that was it. That was the final thing that turned them against him. I believe that.
Perfect sense, and it's logical. And Trump has massive cojones. I think.
Well, he has a rally. I believe his rally. I should have. Darn it! I was making so much fun of Mike in Louisiana over his tricycle. I should have. Trump, I think, has a rally in Louisiana tomorrow. Yeah.
Keep it up.
Well, thank you. All right, take care. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll take our break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
This is Steve Kane for Attorney Barry Siegel.
That's me hitting the table. I've been banging my hand on the table, I think.
Listen to one of our listeners.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
His experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach for my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you got to. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, most people would just blow you off, right? Almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was on quite a while with him, and talking about a lot of things, and this and that. But I wanted to say, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have
Alabama.
That you can trust them, and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell him Steve sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens.
Is the rally in Alabama?
Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
I didn't make fun of his balance problems, D. Didn't make fun of his balance. Oh my goodness. All right, welcome back, everyone. Is Trump's rally tomorrow in Alabama? Someone just texted me and said Alabama. Yeah, tomorrow night. So that means we know what we'll be doing Saturday night. Watching Trump. Yes. Alabama. That's right. A lot of people give me grief about my call with Mike from Louisiana. Someone said, why was I giving him a hard time about his balance? I wasn't giving him a hard time about his balance problems. I was trying to get some information. He said Mike from Louisiana is a very good caller. He's been calling the show for a long time. And he usually calls really early in the morning in the first hour. It's very unusual for him to call this late in the show. And when he told me he was exercising, I was just trying to get some information. Now, I did ask him if he was obese. I just, I was trying to put a visual to the voice. People give me a hard time. Plus, sometimes I don't feel like talking about the issues with a particular caller. I want to, have some other conversations. Good morning. You're on the radio. Augustino, how you doing?
I'll tell you what, you made me so happy yesterday. I was so happy.
What'd I do? Is it when I signed off the air at 9 o'clock? Is that what make you happy? When the show was over?
No. It's when you put that thing out. I don't know what you call it. And you said that what happened to you about you not eating.
Oh yeah, taking the prescription medication during the show on an empty stomach when it says on the bottle, take with food.
Yeah, I know. Boy, I was worried about you.
You were worried. Let me tell you, the last 20 minutes of yesterday's show, I did something I've not done since the very first show I did, talk show. And that was look at the clock. I was looking at the clock. I got a clock right here to the right. And looking at, because that last 20 minutes of yesterday's show, I didn't think I was going to make it. And Steve had a lot of dental work done the day before, and he was on, that's why Steve's not with us today, by the way. Steve had some dental issues. And Steve was all loopy from the pain medication and other, his medications from the dental work, so that was no help. And I'm looking at the clock, and it was almost, yesterday, I almost had them put a tape on for the last hour of the show.
Yeah, well, what I thought was funny is you asked me which one was going to drop first.
Oh, him or me? Yeah.
Because you said he had dental stuff done.
Well, what had happened was is my blood pressure and pulse got high, but that was because the medication, I felt like I was I felt like I was high. I mean, I was really I was feeling really strange. I was sick. I was feeling strange, very weird. And I looked, and it started around 7:30. Because I went around, it was during one of the commercial breaks, I stepped out and took the medication. It was either at 6:45 or 7. And at 7:30, it hit me. And it was making me feel a little weird. And the reason that my pulse was racing, I think I had a bit of an anxiety attack because I was so sick and had 90 minutes of airtime. And I'm like, how am I going to do this?
I'm just glad you're okay. I am so happy.
Well, so am I. I'm happy I'm okay too. But I'll tell you, that last 20 minutes, I felt like the whole time, I was holding on to the table here like I was going to fall on the studio desk. Think about it, though. Think about it. If I would have collapsed on the floor live on YouTube, that would have been, I could have had a lot of views, right? MAGA radio host collapses live on the air talking about Afghanistan. I could have been on TV yesterday. And think about how many views I would have gotten on my YouTube video if I would have collapsed on the air.
Are you going to be ready for Saturday night?
I've been ready for Saturday night since the last rally we had with President Trump.
Night, Alabama, I'm getting my popcorn and I'm going to get ready to listen to him.
Well, you know, the thing about this rally, this rally this weekend with President Trump is very important. It's a very important rally because we right now there's a global crisis going on because we have a vacuum at the White House. I don't mean a vacuum like Bill Clinton with the nose. I'm talking about like a vacuum of power, authority, and leadership. And the mainstream media, Fox included, have been doing something very stupid. They've not been carrying these Trump speeches these past few months when he's given them. And this one, because of the crisis, CNN, MSNBC, and all the rest should be carrying them. They should be carrying them. This rally tomorrow night of President Trump's because of the events in Afghanistan, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
Got some sense now.
Well, don't get used to it. It won't last long.
But I'm
Steve
just
Kane
happy
Show.
you're okay.
Yeah, well, so am I. All right, Augustino. Take care, take care, take care. All right. Good morning. You're on the radio.
See you at Paris, Texas.
Hey, what's up? All right. How are you? What's on your mind? That's for sure. You know, this latest thing I was just talking about earlier, where they were going to charge $2,000 per person to the Afghan refugees to fly them out of the country. I mean, what are we, coyotes now? It's pretty bad. It's embarrassing. It's sick.
They need to get rid of Biden.
Yeah. You must have had something more, though, when you picked up the phone and called. No. No, I have no recollection of the last time I know you've called before, but I don't remember a past. I was mad at you. I have no recollection. I don't remember the call. So what's going on with Alabama? Okay, you're calling about the Alabama rally? No, yeah, I'm sure he does. Oh my goodness. You know, a lot of listeners do that. They record and then play things back when they call. There used to be this guy, when I first started working with Steve, Rich Allen down the hall, he'll remember this guy. There was this guy that was the very good caller. When I first started working with Steve, he was called Marty the Watchdog. Do any of you remember Marty the Watchdog? Oh my goodness. This guy was what he would do is the radio station we were at, we had 24-hour live talk. And he would record the entire radio station audio 24 hours a day. And he worked all day. He was an auto mechanic. He listened to the radio all day, but he had his VCR set up to record the audio on videotape while he was at work. And what he would do is he would hear somebody on the radio say something that was a contradiction to something they had said in the past. And he would take the audio of that tape, he would call in, and he would set them up very good, do this, walking them down the garden path, get them to say something, and then he'd play the audio of them saying something completely contradictory. And it was, oh man, I haven't heard from him in years. He's got to be dead. If you're alive, Marty the Watchdog, let us know you're alive. It's been decades, so he's got to be dead by now because I haven't heard from him in so long. But that was brilliant. Oh, that was a brilliant call. And he would get me very good because I wasn't as skilled then as I am now, and I was a lot younger. So I was like, I was a victim to that many times. But I guess that's what Big C was trying to do, but he failed at it. All right, our number 1-888-GO, Kane, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. Now, so this Trump, though, rally tomorrow night in Alabama, this rally, whatever you're doing tomorrow, cancel it. Cancel it. You really should be there to watch it because of what's going on. And the thing with the Trump rallies, the Trump speeches, if you can, you want to watch it live. Not just for the experience of experiencing a Trump rally, which we all miss, but you don't want to watch it in sound bites that others choose for you, whether it's the news or someone online like me. You want to listen to it in its raw form for the context of everything that happens at the rally. It's very, very important. And if you can find someone streaming before, a lot of times, these Trump rallies, they have a lot of speakers that come up before he comes out. And some of them are very good. In particular, Don Jr., who speaks at a lot of these rallies, he's unbelievably good. I mean, he's very good. He always has something to say. I remember when Michael Avenatti was going off to jail, Don Jr. gave a speech, and he says, MAGA, it's, Make America Great Again. It now stands for Michael Avenatti got arrested. I thought, oh my gosh, he's hilarious. He should write for Gutfeld. But there's somebody that I'm really looking for at this. I don't know if they're going to be there tomorrow with President Trump. Usually they are, and that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, did you see her online yesterday? I can't play the clip for you because the language, it would just be a bleep, bleep, bleep. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is one of the most physically fit people ever to be in Congress, she may be the most physically fit female to ever serve in Congress. She looks kind of strange in her clothes. She's totally muscle bound. She's a gym rat, and she was doing, not in gym clothes and like her regular clothes. She did a bunch of pull-ups yesterday, and she finishes the pull-ups, and then she shared her opinion of what kind of person Joe Biden is. It was pretty good. So if Marjorie Taylor Greene is with President Trump at that rally tomorrow, and she speaks before he comes out, it will be must-see TV, even though the TV won't carry it. It'll be excellent because she is very fired up and pissed off at everything that's going on. All right, listen, we're going to take the last break of the show. We'll come back with the gold report. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take your calls after the break. 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget.
Steve Kane Show.
Tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and
Steve Kane Show.
At discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price of Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602
Hey there, hold on.
for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
The Steve Kane 2022 MAGA Cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
All righty. Yep. All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman for this morning's Gold Report from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca Raton. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Great. How are the metals looking today?
Metals looking good. They're still holding their own, and even after a little bit of a pullback yesterday, gold continues to trade in the pretty much the 1780 to 1795 area, with still resistance at 1800. Even against the strong dollar, we've got gold up another $4.60 today. But yesterday it closed down $7.30 at $1,780.40. Silver was down 23 cents at $23.23 the ounce, while platinum was down $23 at $9.69, and palladium was down $11 at $2,244. This morning, as I said, gold up $4.60 on even against the stronger U.S. dollar, but the current price $1,785 the ounce. Silver up 2 cents at $23.25. Platinum up $6 at $9.75. Platinum under $1,000 this week. And, certainly behooves us to take a look at that metal as probably a raging great buying opportunity.
Oh yeah,
really $800 below the price of gold is something we haven't seen in a long time. And palladium down $16 at $2,228. Yeah, that's pretty much where we are this morning. Bitcoin hanging around $47,000 up, and that's pretty much where we are.
We talk about the price per ounce, but people, if they're not into the metals and they want to be, and they may not have a lot of money, they don't have to buy like a whole ounce of a metal, right, to get involved?
No, we have anything from 2 gram, 1/10 ounce coins, all the way up to 12 ounce coins. You can get any size you want and just start accumulating, or you can just buy some silver too and still have a position in the precious metals, anywhere from 1 ounce to 100 ounce bars.
Yeah, Steve first got involved in the metals with silver because the price point, and now he's a gold guy, and that's right. All at William Youngerman, all the metals are in stock for immediate delivery. Listen, they open up weekdays at 10. Step right in, right here in Boca Raton, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. You can give them a call, toll free, 800-327-5010. 800-327-5010, and online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday. All right, take care, and I hope Steve will be back on Monday. Things going on. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Before I comment on Marjorie Taylor Greene's mental fitness, I'd like to remind you that Trump, on December 22nd, pardoned 4 Iraqi war criminals. And that is disgusting thing.
Oh, really? Which one of them are cutting heads off in Kabul today? Okay. How do I know? I don't. Okay. I don't know who he pardoned. I don't know what you're talking about. So, I'll look into it.
Do know.
I don't know everything. I know most everything, but not everything.
Conversation about it before.
Well, I try to block out any conversation I ever have with you. Any interaction I ever have with you, I try to block it out immediately because I feel so dirty every time I talk to you.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, the mental fitness of that woman is unquestionably something.
And I didn't know presidential pardons extended to people in Iraq. No, you had to think about that. Releasing some. Are you talking about American soldiers? Oh, you're talking about American soldiers. Oh, I thought you said that he pardoned Iraqis. Okay, we're criminal. When a soldier is in a combat zone, what are they supposed to do to the enemy?
14 unarmed.
No, when a soldier or a Marine When a soldier or a Marine is in a combat zone, what are they supposed to do to the enemy?
They were unarmed.
Now, I'm not talking about that. No. See, he doesn't want to answer the question. I'm going to ask you again. Because this is too... I'm glad you called today. I'm glad you called today because the Friday show reruns 35 times and people will hear your stupidity 35 times. When a soldier or Marine is in a combat zone, what are they supposed to do to the enemy?
If the enemy is armed...
I didn't ask you that. They're supposed to kill the enemy, right?
And how
So I don't know what you lefties are all about. What is it, a crime now if you're in combat to kill the enemy? It makes no sense. How's your, any comment on the Biden administration wanting to charge Afghan refugees fleeing with their heads still attached, charging them $2,000 per person to fly them out?
They pulled that back.
Because they got caught, but they were going to charge them $2,000 each. It's Biden's government. It's Biden's State Department. And they only stopped it because it made it to Twitter. Pretty disgusting, isn't it? Any comment on the State Department leaving back the, any comment on the State Department leaving the payroll records behind at the embassy that Oliver North reported, and the Taliban are now using it to pick up people that they think are traitors?
I think they'll prove that out to be a lie because Oliver North has been known to lie.
Okay, goodbye. I don't allow people to call Oliver North a liar on this program. Good morning, you're on the radio. I'll tell you guys in a minute.
Liberals
Oliver North.
are not liberal, one thing. And two, they're a bunch of tyrants.
Yes.
Three, when are we going to put an end to this? For instance, they keep blocking Trump. Like, I can't get a replay of Trump's thing with Hannity for it to save my life.
Really?
I get everything else. I don't know.
It's been the Hannity interview with Trump is being suppressed. You can't find it online?
That's my...
I better keep the clips I made of it then. Yeah, I'll keep my clips. I usually delete everything at the end of the week. I'll keep them.
Yeah. The other thing, last time, one of the times, Fox refused to carry Trump's rally. And I got it on delay like 3 hours later.
Ah, okay.
Fox has got to be kept arm's length too.
Yeah, you can't trust Fox. No, Fox are snakes. They're snakes. I mean, I'm very happy for Greg Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld has beat Stephen Colbert in the ratings. I'm very happy. I like Greg Gutfeld. There are some people over there I like a lot.
Yeah. But somebody in the back room is messing with
I know Oliver North. I'll tell you guys after the show.
God bless you. Have a good...
Well, you have a good weekend too. You sound like you're doing better. You doing better?
You always have.
You're always doing better. Okay, take care, John and Okeechobee. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Brian.
Okay, I'm doing great. It's 5 minutes till Friday.
All right. Yeah, I'm just calling out. I don't know if you heard about Lindsey Graham calling for the impeachment of Joe Biden if one American is left behind.
Say that. You were mumbling. Say it again.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham is calling for the impeachment of Joe Biden if one American is left behind. Have you heard?
Oh, wow, Lindsey Graham. You're talking about this traitor who voted in favor of this quadrillion dollar bill that they just passed through, and so he's proposed impeaching Biden in the Pelosi-controlled House of Representatives. Yeah, that'll happen.
You know, it seems like the whole plan is unfolding.
I don't trust Lindsey Graham at all. You know, Lindsey Graham, he palled around with McCain.
Kamala Harris, did you see him fist bump Kamala Harris in the chambers of the Congress? Did you see that? Right?
Oh, yeah, he loves, Lindsey Graham loves Kamala Harris. They probably talk about shoes together, you know what I mean? All right, take care. All right, now, weekdays at noon on our radio stations, Richard Pearl on Politics every day at noon. And that's on AM 1470, 95.3 FM, and 96.9 on the FM radio dial. You can also listen to Richard Pearl's program on the iHeart Radio app, searching for our radio station call letters WWNN, 2 W's and 2 N's. And here's the thing. Now, Richard Pearl, he's on the air 7 days a week at noon. During the week, it's Richard Pearl on politics. And on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, it is Pearls of Health, his health show. So you can also catch Richard Pearl at noon on Saturday and Sunday, same radio place and time. But that's his health show, Pearls of Health, which is also political and very, very interesting. It takes an extra special talent to make a show about vitamins and nutraceuticals interesting, but Richard Pearl does it right here at noon on the weekends. His store, Simply Natural, is located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University, open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And the number over there, if you want to call, 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045. Everyone, have a great weekend. I hope Steve will be back on Monday. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Don't forget, if you don't already, check out my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Brian Craig on YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. We live stream the radio show every day. We have a very active and opinionated, sometimes too opinionated, live chat going on during the show every day. I also upload my podcast to my YouTube channel, and I make videos all the time on my YouTube channel. So Brian Craig on YouTube. All right, guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you Monday morning, 6 a.m. Have a great, great weekend.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience.
Steve Kane Show. Barry, yeah, we're out of time for today. I did run a recorded call-in that we do with you earlier, but because when I saw that you about 20 after 8, you didn't call in. That happens. You know, if you want to call in an extra time next week to make up for it, it's fine. And, you know, yesterday I got your text. I don't know if you heard back from me. I just was under the weather yesterday, so I apologize about that. Okay. All right, I'll talk to you next week. All right, take care. Okay, bye. That's the end. Hold on. Don't go anywhere yet. I'll tell you guys my Oliver North story real quick before I go. I don't want to tell it on the air because I've told it before, and it sounds so self-serving, but I'll tell you real quick. No, but this thing with Oliver North, I didn't want to tell the story on the air because I've told it on the air many times in the past, but I'll tell you guys because you guys probably don't know the story. But Oliver North was my dad's lieutenant in Vietnam. And I'm a huge fan. I knew Oliver North was my whole life because if it was not for Oliver North, I wouldn't be here. So he was my dad's lieutenant in Vietnam, and my dad. This is crazy what happened. I heard this story before Iran-Contra, and I'm getting text messages like crazy from people. My father in the platoon, they were on a tank, and they're driving on a tank. They were sitting on a tank, and my dad got shot and fell off the tank, and the tank kept going, and they were under enemy fire, and Oliver North jumped off the tank under enemy fire, picked my dad up, and carried him to safety. Can you believe this? And it was 2 years before I was born, so I would not even be here if it was for not for Oliver North. And I've met Oliver North, and you know, with my dad and everything. Yeah, it was pretty cool, and he's cool too. I should have him on since he's out there in the news again. But that's that's that. All right, guys, listen. If you're not, subscribe, okay, and click the notification bell. And everyone, like the video before you go. Like the video. Oh yeah, Oliver North's the greatest. I would not be here if it was, and my dad, I'll tell you, my dad always talks about Oliver North. My dad was just out of high school. He was a private. He was his lieutenant. But my dad doesn't call him colonel or anything. They call him, the guys in the unit, they call him Blue. And that's because they had code words for the northeast, west, south. I don't know what the other ones were, but the code word for north was Blue. So they call him Blue. It's kind of a funny thing to think about. All right, guys. Take care. I'll see y'all later, all right?